This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Richard, I want to start with Bobby Petrino because we've talked a little with him this morning. We're going to share some audio clips coming up in this segment. But what do you, from what you've learned from the different staff members and him himself, what is his role in recruiting for this Arkansas football team outside of maybe just quarterbacks?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been really impressed with his effort with recruiting. A lot of times, offensive coordinators kind of take a back seat in the recruiting process. But he had a lot of guys, underclassmen. Obviously, Grayson Wilson is already on board for the 25 class. They're not really recruiting anybody else in the 25 class, but in the 26, 27, 28 classes, they had a lot of guys on campus during the June period where they had camps and visits, and the kids that I talked to say he's in constant contact with them. I think with him being OC and obviously not having the head coaching duties too, I think that's kind of made him obviously freed up and able to focus more on recruiting than maybe in the past, obviously, when he was the head coach. But I'll be honest with you, I was kind of pleasantly surprised how many guys that he contacts and he's in regular contact with, and that shows a lot of effort on his part, to be honest with you.
Richard, one of the things he kind of talked about yesterday, or last night, I should say, was the involvement, not just with him in the offense, but on the headset. It's a little different than what he had in his NFL days. What do you see that dynamic being with him on the sidelines and the first time that college football coaches have access to their quarterback this upcoming season?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think when you're on the sidelines, you get a little better feel other than, you're there in person. You see the guy's reaction when he's talking, your quarterback, his reaction when he's talking about certain coverages or what have you. I think there's maybe a little bit of a disconnect when you're up in the booth and you're not seeing visually how the quarterback is talking to you about certain things, what he's seeing. I just tend to think that being down on the sideline is just something that he's used to, being a head coach, and he feels like it's a better fit for him than quarterbacks.
I would just think with the communication aspect of the in-helmet and the newness of it, I wouldn't want to be that far removed physically or have another link in the chain. You can't communicate in the helmet from the booth, so someone else would have to relay that. Yeah, I just think about the timing on a 40-second clock, and they're going to shut down the communication. Hey, if nothing else, I could yell the play out there if I had to. I can't do that
exactly.
if I'm upstairs.
You make a good point. Yeah, there's no doubt. That is the disadvantage of being up in the booth. If somebody else is translating usually what you want, as far as plays and just little other stuff that not being on the sideline allows you to communicate a little better than up in the booth.
He spoke yesterday to his bigger point beyond the communication was just looking them in the eyes, seeing their eyes, seeing where they're scanning. So I think those are things that you're going to see more play callers, at least, which is generally the coordinators, be sideline level in college football for the reasons we just spoke of.
Yeah, it's more hands-on versus up in the booth. There's absolutely no doubt that you have more of an on-hands capability being down on the sideline.
We're talking with Richard Davenport here this morning, guessing that the A&M last year and him not necessarily liking that probably played a role in the last season as well. Richard, you spoke of Grayson Wilson. We were talking a little bit of high school before you came on. Cannon Cash, Archer, Conway, Bryant, Parkview, some of the notable teams and storylines this upcoming season. How big of an impact do you think Grayson Wilson could see in his development moving to several classifications where he was playing. And how's that going to affect the 7A this upcoming football season?
Well, I mean, he's a true dual threat guy who, I mean, he's going to be that way when he's at Arkansas, and even in 7A, he's going to be able to make an impact on against defenses just because of his athleticism, outstanding baseball player, basketball player. And when I say dual threat, I mean, he's, like I said, a true dual threat guy, can make things happen with his legs. The talent level will be up a notch from 4A to 7A. But, whatever adjustment he's making to that, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because he's such a sharp young man and somebody I think that is good about, taking coaching and making adjustments and being able to be successful regardless of what level of play he's going up against. But I think he's going to be successful and be ready to enroll in January. And I know Bobby Petrino is very, very excited about him.
Richard, Arkansas has to play a quarterback this year that has several years under his belt in Alan Bowman, the kid from Oklahoma State. He's in his 7th year of college football. He's been at Texas Tech, Michigan, and now in Stillwater. I know Cal has been outspoken about this when it comes to playing guys that get several years of eligibility. What do you think about having to go up against a guy that's had this many years of college football under its belt, the other guys in college football, and should the NCAA try and cycle these guys out as we continue to progress in the sport?
I kind of like the way it is right now. I think it's a great storyline. You look at Monty Harrison at Arkansas. As long as you haven't used any eligibility, I kind of like the way it is now. I just tend to think some guys come into the sport or have situations come up that their eligibility is extended, and it seems a little odd for him to be still playing, but that's the case for him, and I tend to think that obviously that. And his maturity is going to has probably served him right. I mean, well for Oklahoma State himself. So, I really don't know much about him, but I would tend to think that that many years of experience and being with so many different coaches, he's seen it all.
Yeah. Walk us through the time period we're in. I know it's a dead period, but that doesn't mean no communication. We'll start obviously having kids coming on campus for unofficial and official visits here with games beginning. But I know that right now the coaches are all tied up anyway with getting their teams ready.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the end of this month be the end of the dead period now. There are exceptions if a team has a game in August. Say like Arkansas. If Arkansas was on campus the 28th. The game's on the 28th, correct?
29th.
29th, yeah. But anyway, if it was on campus, they could still host guys even though it was a dead period. There's a 2-day exception for teams that are playing before September 1. So that's where we are with football. But with Arkansas, we talked about this, and the first time that they're going to host kids is September the 14th for the UAB game. Yeah. So that's it's kind of unusual for them to not have an on campus game for that long.
Yeah, it really makes those October home games with Tennessee and LSU like paramount this year for visits.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's going to be attractive for kids to want to attend games, especially if Arkansas is rolling pretty good and got some excitement going on. That's going to kind of motivate kids to visit campus. So I think you're probably going to see some impressive kids visit not only officially but unofficially.
Rich, before we let you go, Tommy kind of made reference to it earlier. Do you have a beef this morning? Has anything been grinding your gears as we are 8 days out from Arkansas football?
What was y'all's beef?
I've got plenty of them. I'm mad that Arkansas is not playing Kentucky. I'm mad that in week 2, Arkansas has to go up against a 7-year quarterback. There's 2 flight delays that I want to talk about where one plane got grounded leaving Boston, Ireland because a passenger peed on another. There was another incident in Japan. The flight, trust me, I've got about 10 this morning that I'm going to.
Okay, well, since we're talking about flying, I absolutely hate flying. We were coming back from Saratoga, and our flight was delayed, supposedly for maintenance issues. I tend to think sometimes this particular airline uses maintenance issues as just a way to delay flights. If it's not full, they try to try to make the next flight a full flight. Anyway, we ended up missing our connection flight and had to spend the night, an extra night in D.C. and come back the next day. When I'm ready to come home, man, I'm ready to come home. I hate delays, and I used to kind of enjoy it, but I just don't enjoy it anymore. I just think the quality of service you get from airlines nowadays is not what it used to be, and it's very frustrating.
It's not Pan Am or the old commercials that you used to see. And you mentioned missing flights, Richard. I don't know if you or Tommy saw the story about Delaware State. They missed their flight that's 10.5 hours from JFK to Hawaii. They're playing the Rainbow Warriors this weekend. So they built in an extra travel day just in case something like this would have happened. But it's a 10.5 hour flight. They didn't make it to the airport in time due to construction or something with the roadways, but apparently they are set to leave today. Hopefully they don't have an issue like you did, RD.
Wow, yeah, it is frustrating. And you said 10.5 hours?
10.5 hours, RD, from JFK to, I guess, Honolulu is where the Rainbow Warriors play.
Oh, gosh. The longest flight I ever did was 9 hours, and I thought I was going to go insane. And it was actually the Hawaii. We had frequent flyer miles, and when you use frequent flyer miles for a trip, you usually get screwed, as far as connections and stuff. And we had to go from Little Rock to Atlanta to Honolulu, and my wife loves to travel, and some of the flights that she wants to make are 8, 9, 10. And beyond hours, and overseas, and I don't know if I can do
it. You can with you need one of them new first class seats where they their beds they lay out. It's amazing. If you're willing to spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 the luxury, but
Jeez.
Man, for common Joes like us, we're gonna be back there in coach with our knees in our chest.
Yeah, that ain't happening with me.
I can tell you, ain't happening here either. Ain't happening here either.
I'm pretty cheap, but it's tough. I can't imagine just sitting in one place for 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Or can you imagine going to Australia, 24-hour flight? And I'd love to go to Australia, but I don't think I could. I think I would probably go insane if I had to sit in a seat for 24 hours.
Too many snakes. I'm good. I'm good. Richard, appreciate that beef this morning, man. Appreciate the recruiting stuff as well. And we'll chat again, I guess, the day before Arkansas plays UAPB next week.
All right, sounds good, guys. See you later, man.
All right, Richard Davenport with us every Wednesday morning in the 6 a.m. hour. We'll have Richard with us coming up in our new time slot on Wednesdays as well as we move to 9 to 11 beginning next Monday here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.